Hey there, let's talk about how I created my dynamic lighting setup in my game and all the settings that I've had to test out and figure out in the end that works best for me, both performance wise and I wanted the game to look really good, so looks wise as well. So the first thing that I want to show you is go to the edit, project settings, and come all the way down to rendering. This is my setup. It's using forward shading because I'm using a lot of transparent materials. So this is what I'm using. I disabled GPU scene on mobile. I once enabled it, but it caused crashes, so I had to disable it all the way. These are the default settings, I guess. So I have to use support movable light CSM shader culling and enable local lights support on mobile forward. I'm not using anything else, and I'm using occlusion culling. I guess I didn't change the settings. Texture streaming is really important, but it has nothing to do with our conversation right now. Virtual texture support, don't use it on mobile. You can use it though on newer devices, but I mean, and shadow map method is shadow maps. We have no other option unless you're using Vulkan desktop, and then you have the option to use ray tracing, which is not you can't use it in a shipping product. So nanite, I mean, it's just a default setting. So okay, misc lighting, I'm not using any static lighting, so I just disabled it. It improved the shader optimization a little bit. Mobile HDR is enabled. By disabling it, you won't really get anything back, so I just suggest you keep it enabled. That's the best setting, I guess. Bloom, ambient occlusion. I mean, I'm not using any ambient occlusion, but anything that you see here in the default settings will be able to change in the game after this, so you don't really need to restart the editor or restart the shader caching. So I mean, if you don't want to touch anything in here, you're completely free to skip this part. Also, default screen percentage is something that you can change in the game, in the editor, in the right time, anywhere you want. Early Z pass decided automatically. It's pretty important. Clear scene is gonna be hardware clear. If it's not set to hardware clear, just go ahead and set it to hardware clear. It's pretty important. This is disabled for me. Reduce GPU scene vertex factory shader permutations, which is disabled by default, so you don't really need to do anything else about it. Mesh streaming is disabled definitely. We're not using nanite or anything like that. Okay, here is the most important part. I have to use the support stationary skylight because I'm using stationary skylight. If you're not using any stationary skylight, this will definitely help you have less shaders, less package size, less startup load times, better performance overall. I'm not using any support low quality light map because I'm not using any static light map. I said static lighting, I'm not using any, I'm just using dynamic lighting. Point light shadows, I'm not using any shadows for my point lights or spotlights, so all are disabled. I have to use sky atmosphere, so and I'm using fog a lot, so these two are enabled as well. Support combined static and CSM shadowing, disabled. Pre-baked distance field shadow maps, disabled. But these two for me have to be enabled because I'm using point lights here and there. And I didn't change anything in this screen. Okay, so when you come in here, type in directional light. You already have one. If you don't, just put one in your scene by just dragging this one here. So The intensity, source angle, the intensity is just something that's artistic. I'm casting shadows, as you can see. So in the cascaded shadow maps, these are the settings that you have to change. These are the settings I ended up using. 5,000 is my value to go here. I ended up using 10,000 for some of my scenes because I wanted, for example, I'll show you later on. In my desert scene, I had to use 10,000. I didn't really change the performance much. Dynamic shadow cascades, you can use 1, 0 gets everything off, but you can use 1, 0 just turns the shadow off completely. It's, I guess, the default value is 4, but I'm using 2, so 5, 2, much difference, but performance is a lot better. Distribution, exponent, and these are the default values. They didn't really change the performance. And max draw distance, both max draw distance and dynamic shadow distance, just make sure to put the same value. Here I put 6,000 on this and I put 5,000 on this. But okay, one other thing that I did in my dynamic shadow graphic settings is I'm giving the player the ability to change the graphic settings mid-game, so it's like when they, let me show you. So I'm here, I have shadows, I'm going to the graphics, shadow quality, medium, low. I have no shadows, and in the quality of medium I have shadows, but they look really bad. And that's because I did use some console variables, execute console command. So if you just type in execute console command, you have the option to use r.shadow quality 0 means that you have no shadows, r.shadow quality 1 and 3. 3 it means that it's let me show you. So if I type this here, and if I go into the output log, I have my r.shadow quality set to 3. 3 is the epic, 2 is high, 1 is medium, and 0 is pretty low. So this is what I'm using as well. If you want to know how to do this, there's a video explaining all of that. Actually, I'm doing it in real time in that video. You can go ahead and watch that as well. This is my whole dynamic lighting setup. It's not complicated at all. It's just what you see here, and that's it. I'm using fog as well, but it's not like volumetric or anything, because volumetric fog is not supported in OpenGL. It's supported in Vulkan desktop, but it's not so high quality, and you can't really use it in your game if you want to publish it on Google Play Store. And that's it. I hope this helped someone, and if it did, please hit that like button and have a great day. Bye.